What up, guys? It's Drew with New School Classics. We're back today with an unscripted episode. As always, everything's just on the fly. And I just want to mention, I have been gone for a while. I'm not the most consistent YouTuber. I admit it. But I am getting paid for making car videos, not by YouTube, by another company. So that has been taking precedence right now. Because I've always been wanting to at least get paid for camera work or editing and stuff like that. So I'm not quite there yet on YouTube, but since I had another offer for a company willing to pay me for the service, I jumped on it. I've just been getting used to the scheduling and the process over there. So that's why I've been a little MIA from the YouTube scene, but we are back. And got a couple surprises here, and we're gonna take it out today. And you guys know I got the jailbreak Hellcat Charger 2022. It's sitting right over there. But just recently I've also picked up a 2022 Shelby GT500. It is not the track pack, but that just means I don't have a couple of carbon aero bits, which I don't really need. I still got the 760 horsepower Predator motor in there. I've got the Recaro seats. It's this beautiful red. I don't have the carbon wheels, but I definitely got the big Brimbos in there. And the Hellcat jailbreak looking good over there as usual. I got the R1 still with the Woolwich tune, and I need to start this thing up. It's due for an oil change, so I'm gonna get that going probably in a couple of days. I might go pick up some oil today, but today we're gonna hop in the GT500. It does not have paint protection film on it yet, and I've unfortunately already suffered the smallest of nicks. You probably can't even see it, but it's all right. That was self-induced, moving some stuff here in the garage, so wasn't from road debris or anything. The jailbreak does have full paint protection film by XBell, and got an appointment for this one coming up here in December. It's pretty cold out today. I want to say it's probably mid-40s out here. And I'm not going to be getting the best of traction with these Michelin Pilot Sports. We got the 315s on the back and the 305s up front. And yeah, I picked this up for about 106 out the door. They financed it to me, zero money down. So that was great. I drove over to Alabama at McClary Ford, I believe is in Auburn, Alabama. Shout out my guy Thomas. He made the deal happen. I was gonna put a very significant down payment on it, but since they were able to get it to me for zero money down, I just opted for that. And it's been awesome. So I do own the jailbreak outright and the R1 outright. And of course my other commuter car, a little Honda Insight over there, man. Don't sleep on the Honda Insight. That thing gets 44 miles to the gallon. Hybrid car, of course, so it's always nice to have an efficient gas saver commuter vehicle instead of trying to commute in these two hogs. And obviously it's a little cold to be commuting on this thing, but this thing sucks down the gas too pretty quickly after that Woolwich tune. But yeah, guys, Shelby GT500, baby. It's got the Tremec dual clutch, the same dual clutch from the C8. This just has way more horsepower. And let me tell you, in the corners, this thing feels like a C8 in the corners. I don't know what they did to the suspension or how they balanced this car, but it is like a roller coaster in the corners. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's planted. And mix that with the dual clutch and the 760 horsepower, it is a winning recipe for sure. I love my Hellcat jailbreak, but the jailbreak cat doesn't really do as well in the corners as the GT500 does. But yeah, we'll take a quick look at the jailbreak. We got the peanut butter interior. I love this car. This car is really fun to drive. It's so comfortable too. It's got all the creature comforts. You know, the jailbreak has the heated seats. It has the sunroof. It has the ventilated seats. And it's just a bigger car. And I can get in and out of it more comfortably. I can sit in it for longer periods of time comfortably. That's one of the things I love about the car. Plus the 807 horsepower. I mean, it doesn't hurt. This car doesn't have all the creature comforts, but this is like race car. You know, you got the Recaro bucket seats in here. Let's take a quick peek in here. These seats are super tight. But I love them. I couldn't imagine getting this car without these seats. These seats to me make the entire interior of the car. But they are super tight, as you can see how wide these bolsters are. You got to be careful because getting in and out, you will get some wear right there if you're not careful, and possibly here as well. So you got to get in and out of it really carefully. And you know, there's no sunroof, there's no heated seats, there's no ventilated seats, but they do hold you in very well, very tightly. And you know, this is a track ready car, guys. And I love it. We even got the little Cobra puddle lamps. So really good looking car. I love the red. It could use a wash. We're not going to do that today, but I am going to take it for a spin. Let's hop in the Shelby GT500, the 2022 Shelby GT500. And this thing's only got 1,400 miles on it or so. And let's go take her for a spin. But first, of course, we got to get that cold start. And this does have remote start. And the engine is very cold right now, so this should be a nice little start up here. Let's see. Lock, and then 2 times. The track gauges set up. That's how I like it. This is our chassis number 2000 in 2000. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, let's take her for a drive. All right, guys, sitting in the cockpit of the 2022 Shelby GT500. I feel really squeezed right now, but it's exactly what you need on the track in the turns, so you're not flopping around everywhere. I'm 6'2", so not too much headroom, but probably just enough for a helmet. I love the Alcantara wheel. I love it so much. I don't want a new looking finish to ever go away, so I always wear these gloves. They're actually touchscreen gloves so I can still access the screen or the phone when I'm stopped if I need to without taking off the gloves. So that's a win there, because I protect my wheel while still having the functionality of not having gloves on. This car is a gas hog. If you look at the window stickers between the Charger Jailbreak and the Shelby GT500, this actually gets worse gas mileage than the Charger. On the upside, in Atlanta, the Mustang gets a little cheaper insurance, even though it's actually faster than the Jailbreak. The Jailbreak has very expensive insurance because of the theft statistics on those types of Chargers and those Dodges. So I think that's what's really jacking the rates up on the Jailbreak. It's probably a mixture of the 807 horsepower number and the statistics of the theft rates in this geographical area on that car. The Shelby is, I would say, significantly cheaper to insure in the Georgia, in the metro Atlanta area. But what's funny is the Shelby is actually a faster car. So, but like I said, maybe it's not about what's faster, but it is kind of funny thinking that the Shelby is cheaper on the insurance, but it's faster. And when I say faster, it's only faster on the streets. On regular roads like this, the Shelby will be faster than the Jailbreak. If you watch Stang Mode or keep up with his channel on YouTube, you'll see that I believe him and another mod to fame, I think his channel is, they went to the drag strip with a red eye, and the red eye is actually faster than the Shelby GT500 on the drag strip. On a prepped drag strip, the red eye will outrun the Shelby GT500. But on non-prep surfaces like these regular roads here, the Shelby GT500 is going to beat the red eye or the Jailbreak just by a smidge. So keep that in mind. A lot of people will straight up just say that this car is faster, which I guarantee it is on a track and on the regular roads. But on that drag strip, guys, watch out. Those Dodges, those red eyes, those Jailbreaks, that's their home. Their home is the drag strip. So don't think that you're gonna be taking a stock Shelby GT500 to go drag against a stock red eye or a stock Jailbreak and you're gonna beat it. It's very unlikely. But yeah, on the roads, this thing is pretty much king for stock American muscle cars right now. The Z06 has just started to come out, the new C8 Z06, but I have graces of that as well. And if the C8 struggles to launch from a dig in any way, shape, or form, this car is going to overtake it at the higher speeds, just because of the much larger amount of horsepower you're working with here. Same dual clutch and everything. So yeah, but really nice fit and finish on this car. I mean, it's what you would expect for a Ford, an American car. It's still a Mustang, but it's got much nicer equipment and just a much nicer finish overall. If you get the track pack, you know, normally this whole dash up here, which you probably can't see right now, is carbon. I do have the big screen. I do have the Alcantara wheel. I do have the nice Cobra Snake airbag. The headliner is just your standard cloth material. In my Jailbreak, it's Alcantara headliner, so I like that. I like that about the jailbreak. It has the Alcantara. I love the Alcantara. But you know, it's just little trade-offs between this and the jailbreak. This has its benefits where the jailbreak doesn't have, and the jailbreak has its benefits where this doesn't have. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to preference. If you were choosing right now between the Shelby GT500 or the Challenger or Charger jailbreak model, it's a tough call, man. Both of these cars are really in the same league, and it really just comes down to preference at the end of the day. Do you prefer Mustang, or do you prefer, you know, Dodge Muscle? You know, they're both great cars, but this is definitely more focused for track racing. That's the one thing I will point out about this Shelby GT500. Like I said, you don't have the creature comforts like the sunroof and the heated and ventilated seats and all that, or the heated steering wheel like you have in the jailbreak. This is more track focused. This is a race car that you can drive to work, basically. So this thing will handle the corners unlike the jailbreak. It shifts unlike the jailbreak due to that dual clutch. And I love the dual clutch on this thing. You got to use the paddle shifters just because it's more fun. You don't have to use them, but trust me, it's a lot more fun using the paddle shifters. A couple of maintenance tips for you guys that may not know or realize or have it fully sunken in yet. And you know, I'm not a professional mechanic or anything, guys, but I do have a pretty good amount of understanding for machines and how they operate in reality. So one of the things you never want to do with any car, but especially these cars, is while it's cold, beat on it. You never want to beat on it while it's cold, okay? And for that reason, I have all my temperatures on my gauge cluster right now. You can adjust all your settings to how you want, but make sure you always know your temperatures. Your transmission is going to be the last thing to warm up on these cars. So I always go by the transmission temperature, because I know once the transmission is warm, that means that everything else is also warm. But temperature range on this car for warmth on the Shelby GT500, I find the operating transmission oil temperature on the 2022 Shelby GT500 is around 130 degrees. Okay, that's operating temperature. Now it's gonna sit at about 108, 107, 108 before you start beating on it. So right now, my trans oil temperature is 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, I just started driving it. We've been driving for a short period of time here, and I'm still sitting at 89 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm not going to beat on the car or drive it fast until the transmission oil temperature goes from 89 degrees Fahrenheit to at least 107 to 108 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that's when I know the transmission has been warmed up to its optimal temperature, to now being able to start taking a little harder shifts, a little higher in the revs and stuff like that. Okay, you don't want to take this car out when the transmission oil is still 70 degrees and start beating on it. Okay, you're gonna hurt your car in the long run. You know, your engine oil temperature isn't even up to temperature at that point, and you're just it's gonna stress out the car. So drive slowly for about 30 minutes, guys. That's what I realized it takes. It takes approximately 30 minutes of slow driving to warm your car up properly. And you also want to avoid idling these cars, okay? Idling the cars is not good either. I believe you get a lower amount of oil pressure while idling, which I think higher oil pressure is good, because I think that means your engine is getting more oil and getting more lubrication. And idling, you know, it's just bad all over. So avoid idling at all costs. You know, if you're going to be sitting somewhere with the engine on for more than, I'd say, 2 to 3 minutes, just shut it off. Just shut the car off, and spare yourself the gas and the engine hours. But that's just me. I baby my car, guys. I'm freaking crazy about how I take care of my cars. I'm always over maintaining my cars, because I want them to last forever, you know. I'm buying these, and I'll probably not be buying another car for a while now. I've gone through quite a few cars, as you can see on my channel. It took me a while to figure out what it is I actually wanted, and I think I finally got it. You know, I've bounced around from Scat Packs to, you know, C8s to, I've even had GT350s, you know, but I realized I like high performing machines. I mean, the Scat Pack is an awesome car, but it doesn't quite do it for me like the Jailbreak does. I like a car to give me an element of fear when I drive it. I want to be a little bit scared and feel like I have to tame it. Like it's a beast I have to tame, you know? But that's my preference. I do love the Scat Packs, though. I would get another one if I had the room. And maybe just use it as like a backup daily or something, you know? But, alright, we got the temperatures climbing a little bit here. Still not up to quite the optimal temperature. And it is a little cold out today. It's 41 degrees out today, so that is also going to play a role in how quickly our vehicle temperatures climb up to the optimal range. Gas mileage on this thing, it's abysmal. I want to say it probably cost me about $25 to $30 a day in premium gasoline every time I take this car out for a drive, okay? You know, if you drive this car any significant amount in one day, you're gonna burn at least a half a tank of gas, and that's just in maybe 2 hours or less. You're gonna burn a half a tank. So yeah, keep that in mind if you don't quite realize how bad this Shelby GT500 is on gas. It is terrible. But who cares? It performs well. That's all that really matters. And that's all you really want when you buy this type of car. And that's why I have the Honda Insight for commuting purposes. Because commuting in this would be a terrible idea. This is a car you take out on your off day and you enjoy your life, you know, once or twice a week. And that's kind of how I do it. So we are still at a 96 degrees temperature on the trans oil. So still got a little bit more driving to do. The engine oil temperature is at 183. And I'm just going to keep my eyes on them to see if they go any higher. They should. But it looks like my engine oil temperature actually just dropped. I think because it's 41 degrees out here. So my engine oil temperature just went from 183 to 181. So that tells me we might be approaching the max temperature that this car is going to reach in 41 degree weather. until I start beating on it, of course. But we're gonna drive a little longer just to ensure that the temperatures are not gonna climb any longer. A couple of features in the meantime I have on this car. I do have the blind spot alert on my mirrors. The wheel is tilting and telescoping, but it's manual. It's not electronic like it is in the jailbreak. The seats are also manual to adjust. There's no electronic adjustment on these Recaros. Got a big truck pulling out here. Saw the guys at the last second almost. Had to slam on the brakes for a second. Checking out the Shelby. But yeah, what else we got? I got these custom floor mats in here off of Amazon. It's kind of like that diamond stitch pattern. I asked for a Ford logo, and they sent me a Super Snake logo. So although this is not quite the Super Snake Shelby, I think it's close enough to where I can get away with having the floor mats in the car. It is a GT500 Cobra, and it is a Cobra snake on the emblem, so I think that's good enough. And they do look nice. I tried to do a little contrast with some blue stitching to mix it up. I didn't want everything just to be red, so I mixed it up with a little bit of blue floor mats, blue and black against the red. I've always liked blue and red together. But yeah, we got a nice little oil pressure gauge here in the dash that goes across. And we also have an oil temperature gauge built in. The whole cluster screen up front is, of course, all digital. We got the headlights on auto. We do have brights. I wish they were automatic brights, the type of brights you can turn on and they shut on and off automatically when it detects a driver. I like that feature, but this car does not have it, unfortunately. So once again, track car guys, it's probably due to weight savings. You know, they're trying to keep the car light as possible. Surprisingly, this car is pretty heavy, heavier than your average Mustang. I believe this car weighs about 4,100 pounds. It's at about 4,300 now with me sitting in the driver's seat. So that's only 300 pounds away from the weight of my jailbreak Hellcat. So that's pretty crazy. That this car is only a 300 to 400 pound difference between the big Charger jailbreak. So, but that's the truth of the matter. So, okay, oil temperature has actually dropped even more to 177. My trans oil is still sitting at 96 degrees Fahrenheit. So my temperatures might be maxed out for the 41 degree weather. For low speed driving, this is probably as warm as it's gonna get without me beating on it. So I'm gonna have to beat on it to get it a little warmer. But the only problem is now the tires are not warm and this is not gonna hook up. So definitely leave your traction control on, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. But I'll see if I can give it a little gas here in a moment. Got 1,607 miles on the clock. My tank is essentially full, right? It's down a smidge from the full line, and it tells me I have 191 miles to empty. That's it. You're lucky to get 200 miles on a full tank in this car. Isn't that insane? my Honda Insight gets more than double that amount. And that's on unleaded gas, which cost about $20 a full tank. So this costs double the amount of gas the Insight does and gets less than half the range. So how's that? All right, we are going to switch to manual mode. I'm not going to switch it into sport mode or anything like that, because when you switch it to sport mode and stuff like that, it's going to stiffen your suspension. This does have mag ride, I believe, so your suspension does get stiffer and looser depending on what setting you put it into. So I'm not on the smoothest of roads by any means, so I like to just keep it in the normal mode and then just switch it into manual. A cool thing I did notice, we got a little bit of traffic here, so I can't quite do any pulls yet, but wanted to mention, I did notice one time it was a little wet outside, and I put it into the wet mode, and I had it in manual, and I was still driving very spiritedly. The wet mode is great, because it really allows you to drive a little spiritedly still, even when the ground is wet, and still gives you control of the vehicle. So I think the way they did the wet mode in this car, they did it really well. I guess they were imagining people having to drive this on a wet racetrack occasionally, and they did a great job tuning it for that. And I had a good time, even on wet roads. I had a good time in this car, and was getting on it and stuff, and it wasn't too scary. It wasn't too uncontrollable or anything. These brakes do tend to squeal a little bit. They're just so big. The brakes on this thing are just massive. So they're just, I guess they're just gonna make noise. They're just gonna make noise occasionally. But it's not unbearable or anything. Just race car stuff. Alright, let's see if I can get myself in a position to switch this thing into manual mode. Still got a little bit of traffic in front of us. I'm gonna go ahead and make the switch to manual mode. We're in fourth. Downshift to third. Downshift to second. That trans oil's heating up now, and now it's at 100. Here we go. And that was only about 50% throttle. 50% throttle right there. Easing into it. Tires are cold. And this thing just, I'll tell you what, that supercharger is loving the 41 degree temperature right now. Because man, this thing is hauling right now. What a car. Instantaneous shifts. The dual clutch on this is just amazing. I kind of wish I had the opportunity to just drive one of these before I had got my C8 Stingray. I just really, really enjoy this car. Do a couple more pulls here. A couple more pulls. It's like it just keeps going too. Like you give it 50% throttle, and then you start adding a little more and a little more, and it just keeps getting more and more powerful. This car is just super fun to drive. It's hard not to smile when you do a nice acceleration in the Shelby GT500. And just the way it handles. I mean, this is a true American race car right here. I can't even give it all it's got. Not on these roads. Not with cold tires. But boy, would I love to take this thing on a track and throw it in the track mode and give it all it's got. Now, I bet you that is a good time. Everything's heating up nicely. Our trans oil temperature is now at 109. Engine oil temperature is 199. So it's definitely warming up a bit now. Holy shit! Traction control is on. And I fishtailed. I fishtailed pretty bad too. I tried to give it a little more juice than the last couple of pulls, and that was a mistake. Tires are way too cold still. Oh man, this car is so fun though. You just gotta be a little responsible with the throttle input. You can very easily get carried away. Had I had traction control off back there, it probably wouldn't have been pretty. I probably would be in a ditch. Just say that. Beautiful downshifts. Listen to this. Oh, instant. Watch. Watch, watch. Here comes the first gear downshift. Here it comes. Oh, you can't hear that one, but it was instant. Very quiet. But yeah, you do have all types of buttons here on the steering wheel. I've got a Cobra button here. I've got a steering wheel adjustment button, a suspension adjustment button, so I can adjust all these things on the fly if I so wanted to. Let's go this way. So fun. I'm gonna have to get some exterior shots here in a second. Find a nice place to pull over and remount the cameras. But for now, let's so fun. What a great car. I love my jailbreak, but you know, the more I drive this Shelby, the more I like it. If you like fast, this is fast. Just press that M. I'm gonna pull over here and see if I can find a place to remount the camera. Let's switch to 360 cam. Alright guys, you witnessed it. We got some really good pulls in there, and this car is just an absolute beast. Had some nice windy roads back there. Didn't get to go too crazy, but just enough to really show you what it's like driving this car. And just do a quick little walk around here. Beautiful car in the beautiful red paint. I had a C8 parked next to me a minute ago. Must have scared him off. The Venom. Yeah, just look at the size of these Brimbos, even in the back. They are gigantic. Pizza-sized rotors. Look how massive these are. I mean, that is like insanely big. Look how big. That's gotta be almost a foot tall right there. That's as big or bigger than my shoe right there. Little tip, these are some little guards so debris doesn't come flying up in here. Really cheap mod you can find off of Amazon, highly recommended. I don't like how these catch so many leaves all the time, but that just comes with the territory, especially going fast in the fall. Just try to pick all that out. See, I got a leaf stuck up in there. Let's pop the hood. Show you guys the Predator engine. Here's the interior. Those are my floor mats. The Alcantara wheel. The Cobra embroidered Recaro seats. Back seats, a little small. Hood release right there. Then you just walk over and you push. And then you push here. And then it comes up a little bit. And then you gotta press the switch to the left. And then boom. There it is. You got the hydraulic hood prop and the Ford Predator engine, hand built with pride on the Romeo niche line. I can't really read that signature. It looks like Paul Willis maybe. Probably completely botched that. Carbon fiber composite. So I guess that's what this piece is. This is carbon fiber composite. Feels really lightweight but very sturdy. Got the Ford Performance strut tower brace up there. Big old blower up there. I think it's a 2.5 liter blower if I'm not mistaken. This takes the 550. The little valve covers, powered by Ford. And yeah, man, it's a beautiful looking setup. I'm sure if you wanted to mod this, you could really go crazy with it. We got the rain tray installed, so I could technically take this out for additional cooling, but since I'm not tracking the car and probably won't ever, I won't say never, it's possible I might one day, but not in the foreseeable near future, just because of time constraints, and the bill for this car every month is quite high, but not too much of an issue at the same time. But hope you guys enjoyed this episode of New School Classics. Got a leaf in here. I will be back with some jailbreak content, with some Yamaha R1 content, and now we have the Shelby GT500 thrown into the mix. So I am teaching my wife how to drive this car. So hopefully in the near future we can get some content of the jailbreak Charger versus the Shelby GT500 stock versus stock, and then we can switch driver seats and all sorts of fun stuff like that coming up in the near future. But as for now, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you really like this video, give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll keep the content coming. I'm gonna try and make it more regular now that I know my schedule and all this and that. So be on the lookout for weekly updates. And thank you guys for watching. New School Classics, baby.